Well, it's happened to me. I had a form teacher that I admired and loved as a 13-year-old boy. I thought she was the most beautiful woman on earth, and her kindness to each of the kids, and then finally one day to me. And that day was when I was leaving. She'd always hammered me in my reports about I was lazy, I talked too much, whatever. I read them proudly these days, even though my kids laugh and my wife laughs. But on the day that on the week that my family decided that I was wasting my time at school and I didn't want to sell newspapers anymore on the streets, I didn't want to pack illegally raided vegetables from the south. They were having potato wars in those days too. And I tried hairdressing and I hated it with a vengeance. I love food. And I did 2 days at a butcher shop with my brother. And I finished up to get out of a belting when my father, what are we going to do with you? You don't want to work, you don't want to study, you don't want to do nothing. I might like to be a butcher. So to get out of a belting, I said that. And within days, they were signing me out because anything around 13, 14, you had to be signed out. You couldn't leave. And I walked into class after recess and the beautiful Irene Froyland says, "Vincent, I hear you're leaving us." "Yes, Miss Froyland, I'm going to become a butcher." And she looked at me and she goes, "Oh, Vincent, I thought you could do so much better than that." Now, those words might devastate a lot of people, but a young migrant boy who'd wet the bed and was still going through his problems, he realised that there was an Australian person who had an opinion about this kid and that he was too good to be a butcher. Holy cow, I'm going to be the greatest butcher that ever lived. And I've got to be honest with you, from the moment I went to work, every time I achieved something, I'd think about whether Miss Froyland would be proud of me.
Oh, that's brilliant.
The unfortunate thing was that I thought she was about 40 and she was only 23. As you little kids, you thought anybody over 30 was ancient, you know. And I got better and better in my life, always, constantly. And one day when I was a little bit, I call it bullshit famous, Graham Mabry had got me a couple of speaking engagements with Rotary, and so I was helping the community. And one of the presidents said, "When you talk about Miss Froyland, was that Irene Froyland?" I was, to be honest with you, we were never allowed to use her Christian name,
for sure.
but it was.
Yeah.
And he said, "Oh, she's my cousin." And I said, "What do you mean she's your cousin? She was your cousin. She'd be dead by now." "No, she's alive. She's well." And we had the greatest thing on earth. We got to meet.
That's brilliant.
And my family fell in love with her. You know, if you idolise somebody, the bubble can burst when you really meet them. You know, what if she was a grouchy old bat, you know? I met this lovely woman who was only 9 years older than me, and she had left school a year after me and become a professor of criminology.
Seriously?
I joked that she probably did that to give herself two chances of meeting me, either as a criminal or a successful businessman.
Yeah.
And she had worked with Commissioner Falconer, Commissioner Bull and Commissioner O'Callaghan, only retired a few years ago, and Carl O'Callaghan retired recently too. And she became an important part of my life again because the story was true. What I told about the past and how we hooked up and how much she believes in our communities and doing the best for our people and our women in this land and blah, blah, blah. And it just added more and more strength to everything that we've lived. So I'm Mount Lawley High shaped me from that age until today. I still use the stories, talk about how important it is, the words you say to young people. And so we learned even as parents, you know, they do a dumb drawing and you tell them how wonderful it is. Well, they get better. And young people get better. when you give them the support they need and you remind them that anything, I can't tell you how emotionally you get with happiness when you actually mould people for the future. And if you make a mistake, you have to be dreadfully broken-hearted about it and help as many people as you can. So sometimes, you know, maybe someone else saves my kids when they can't talk to me because there's more people out there willing to help.
Yeah, but that's a great story about how you came to meet her again. And I think you said earlier that Perth is still a close-knit community, and I don't think if you'd lived in New York or London that you would have experienced that.
No.
You know, we're lucky because we've got 2 or 3 degrees of separation, and everyone seems to know everyone else.
No, it's a beautiful state, and I'd like to go back to the smaller things. We've accepted far too many large things. We want bigger stores and bigger department stores, and the real joy is when the communities are smaller, when there's more small shops in every suburb, and people aren't disconnected. But you know, they're buying stuff online, never talking to people. They're going to bigger and bigger restaurants that spend less and less time talking to you. Our small restaurants, our small businesses, our small everything is the glue that we need for communities